A in physics.
1979, I think.
There was one
For the
earlier in
total?
the seventies that
I'm not taking a partial.
I went to Virginia Beach to see because I could get an A out of that versus
Here.
a 20 on the curve,
Hold
and
up.
taking the physics exam.
Eclipse, the total eclipse.
I thought it was a total, Larry, in 1979. I mean, I was little, I mean, I was young, but I remember it, and I remember it being a big deal.
Can we eclipse this and?
Yeah,
go
we
on
can
to-
eclipse this, yeah.
Calling the Topsham Planning Board to order, could you please take your roll?
Ronald Goodman,
President.
Lawrence Grant,
Present.
Andrew Mundy is excused, Don Span,
Present.
Scott Libby,
Present.
Tim Dunham,
Present.
Terry Bickford,
Carrie, I thought was coming, but I'm not positive. I didn't hear from her, did you? All right, before we go to the minutes, just a comment. I just got this from the town. This is the one of the items for the Board of Selectmen coming up. It's the warrant articles are going before them. And I just want to point out that the town meeting or special town meeting is scheduled for the 22nd of May at 7. At Mount Airy High School Forum Room. As many of you as can make it, I'd appreciate it. That would be good. We have Articles 9 through 13 on the warrant. Now granted, they have to approve it right before. I can absolutely say that, but that's at least right now what the warrant looks like from our perspective. Okay. On the minutes, do we have a motion?
I move, we accept the minutes of March 28, 2024, first draft as submitted.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. So are you taking this or?
Patty's on right now, but I think she wanted you to. remove
Okay, right. See, Patty, I listened.
it.
So Larry made the motion and who seconded?
Good, Ron.
Ron seconded. Hope you got that.
I'll make a notation.
Okay. So we're moving to public hearing. I will be recusing myself.
We should probably vote on the minutes.
Oh, sorry. You added that extra step and I thought I was done. All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And we have one abstention. All right, good. All right. As
We
I
should
was-
probably vote for Petty to Scott.
Oh, yes, Patty, that's Scott the abstain. Funny talking to someone that doesn't have that. All right, so anyway, public hearing, Scott's gonna take that.
All right, we'll open up the public hearing for Topsham Dental Arts. Submitted an amended site plan and conditional use permit to expand the existing parking lot at 37 Forside Road, tax map U08 lot 18. And Chris.
I think I just promoted you, so you should be able to them.
My name is Chris Belanger, while this is loading, representing Topsham Dental Arts on Forside Road. And I got a quick presentation.
Thank you, Julie.
Can you hear me now? As I said, I'm Chris Belanger. We're here representing Topsham Dental Arts. We're amending the approved site plan. The site plan was approved back in 2007 originally. It had the 40 by 60 building was built with.
There we go.
That's my
Sorry about
voice.
that, everyone.
Nice to hear you twice with us.
I'm so cringe when I hear my voice. Site plan approval was originally in October 2007. We got the building approved along with 16 spaces. We came back to you in 2015, got the site plan amended. The dentist office went from the first floor and built also in the second story. And that plan at the time approved an extra 16 spaces. So the 2015 plan had about 32 spaces approved. We're looking to expand the site. This is our second iteration coming back to you. This new plan tries to follow that 2015 plan to the best that we could, and we did get to add 2 spaces. It does require a conditional use permit, was approved in 2007, amended in 2015, and the added parking is an expansion of that conditional use. So we're asking for approval of that. The new plan has 2 extra spaces. The dentist office has 20 to 27 employees, depending on timing. 5 dentists, 8 hygienists, and 11 treatment rooms. And we've got about 0.3 acres of impervious area that we're developing. This is the tax map and the aerial view. Basically, you can see the building and the parking on the side. It is paved parking. This is the existing conditions plan. You see the building there. The gray shade is the existing paved parking. There's an entrance drive that's about 18 feet wide. Behind the paved parking is about 10 additional gravel spaces. So you see about 26 spaces there. This is the site distance at the entrance. There's ample site distance. Pictures of the front taken, I took the pictures on the road, looking at the site. So you're still looking at the road side of the building. There's a covered porch with 2 doors. There are entry lights at each door. Side view of the picture, I'm standing at the entrance now. You're looking at the sign and the building. And the right side is basically the boulevard of trees that they put in back in 2007. The new plan suggests or recommends that we add two new street trees as a result of this project. The existing pavement and the existing gravel. This is a backyard view of the building and the side yard view of the building on the right-hand side. The side we're not encroaching. This is the 2015 plan. I show this just to verify that it's similar to the new plan. The next slide. This is the new plan. We're proposing to pave the back area. We're going to install curb around the building and sidewalk. As part of the conditional use, we are also adding a stockade fence along the back property line as suggested by staff. Tom Saucier has reviewed the project. We've hit 99% of his questions. I've got to get the existing infiltration area inspected and cleaned and provide him evidence of that. So I think we're just about there. Tom. This is the updated landscaping plan. We are adding 2 street trees along the front and the various plantings along the back to supplement the stockade fence that we're installing. The right-hand side of the site will remain intact to the extent feasible. Correct. The conditional use application, it's in your package. If you have any questions. We did request 3 waivers as a result of this. Section 175-9, period G, period 2 is related to lighting and specifically the entry lighting. We weren't able to measure the entrance lighting that's there. We were kind of hoping we can keep the existing features. They've existed since 2007. So we thought it was appropriate to request a waiver. We do understand that the lighting will be peer reviewed. Second, 175-10, A7 is related to the performance guarantee for the on-site landscaping. We're requesting a waiver of that. The owner's on site every day. They agree to put in the additional landscaping as required, and they also agree to maintain them. We're just requesting that waiver. You let me know if it's appropriate or not. If not, we'll provide the performance guarantee. The landscape architect did give me a quote for the on-site planting at about $10,000, but plus or minus, I'll get to the number. And last, the back area of the parking facility. Basically, this parking back here will be a slightly different than the standard spaces. The side parking will be standard spaces, 24-foot aisles, 9-foot wide spaces by 18.5 foot deep. The back spaces will have a 20-foot aisle, 10-foot wide spaces, and about 18.5 foot deep. We think the circulation will work. It gives us 2.5 feet extra from the property line, so the edge of pavement is 7.5 feet from the line. And because we're only loading one side, we think backing and maneuvering is certainly doable for this layout. And that was the last waiver we requested. The requesting a waiver of the section to allow non-standard parking spaces 20 feet wide while width and a 10-foot wide by 18.5 foot long parking space. That's the end of my presentation. I'll be happy to answer questions.
All right, thank you, Chris. Any questions from the board at this time?
What are you proposing for parking, not parking, paving?
Paving it all.
Yeah, but what kind, just standard type paving or?
That'd be asphalt paving. It won't be reclaimed, that's true.
But not, so it'll be impervious,
It'll be impervious for sure. Yeah.
not the type that
Oh, no, yeah, it'll be impervious.
flows water through.
Everything will drain to it, some catch basins I have in the parking lot, and that'll drain to the infiltration storage area.
And I guess I'm somewhat confused because I thought that all you had for right now were the paved area plus the additional spaces of what's 16 paved and the gravel is 9 for a total of 25.
Correct. So the existing,
You said something about the 2015.
the 2015 plan had 32 spaces approved here.
Yeah,
So this is the 2015 plan that was approved. It was only partially built. They built the 10 gravel spaces behind the paved area and they left it at that. So they didn't build the back parking at that time. So I'm following the last approved plan, I guess.
oh, okay.
Yeah, there was can't remember, it was the 2015 or 2007, we allowed fewer spaces to be paved than were the minimum, because we had all the parking minimums at that point. Because they only wanted the fewer number, and we said, have the rest of the area at least be available to become paved or used as the gravel that they had, if and when needed. So it was kind of it worked out well at the time to have less impervious surface than was the parking minimum.
And they did have overflow parking at the library, which helped them tremendously during that period. But now things have changed.
And you don't want to have the whole additional area as a gravel parking area.
We initially wanted gravel, but the engineer came back and said, this is an infiltration area. It really shouldn't be gravel, it should be paved, so the fines don't get into the system. We certainly agreed to pave it.
So,
That's why I have the questions at the moment. and-
okay,
They're doing a lot of great improvements before getting ready to move. It looks
Well, they're
great.
not moving, I should clarify.
Oh,
They're gonna keep this facility
You're gonna
at
say,
the dentist office, and they're still pursuing a second site
okay, gotcha.
that they'll both maintain both.
Yeah, gotcha.
all right. No other comments at this time. I'll open the public hearing. Anyone here have any questions, comments? Is there anyone online?
No, I don't think we're taking comments on.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. All right, any other comments from the board?
I don't see a proposed motion in, something else here.
There is, well, there's one in both.
But I couldn't find it. Yeah. One question I have, and maybe somebody can answer, is how does this relate to the, it's still in its infancy, the question about impervious area of how much impervious in a lot we can allow? You know, the
How does
percentages.
it relate?
Yeah, that we've been talking about.
It would be over what was proposed.
Is it over? the
We're
current?
about 50%.
No,
It's not over the current.
no.
Right. Current ordinance is in line with.
Compliance with-
Okay, so it's we're in line with the current, but not for the
Correct.
in the future. Okay, thank you.
Right, no other comments? Yeah, we gotta go with conditional first. I mean, certainly, as you mentioned, the revised plan now is in line with, 2015, it was already approved, so. Much improved site plan.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
I'd love a motion.
I move that the Topsham Dental Arts conditional use permit is in compliance with chapter 225, section 67, conditional use standards, and is approved with the recommended findings identified in the staff memo from town planner Sky Salati dated April 11 to 2024, and application materials and plans provided by the applicant and reviewed by the board.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? No, unanimous. All right, so now we'll move to the site plan.
Sorry, Patty asked for, so Patty, Larry moved that motion, Tim seconded, the vote was unanimous of those present.
All right. And with the site plan, we haven't discussed it as the board yet, but there are the three waivers that we'll have to deal with first. I think staff has. Okay, Larry, you want to make the motion? We've got everything from us.
I'm getting there.
I think it's on the front page, Larry. It's on the front page first.
Oh, the very first one. Oh, okay. I get you ahead of myself.
Sorry.
Thank you, Sky. Okay, first motion. I move that the planning board concurs with staff's conclusion that the final site plan application materials have been submitted and the application is complete, such that the board may proceed with substantive review of the application and identification of any further information required from the applicant.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Moved by Larry Brand, seconded by
All in favor?
Tom, Tim.
Yeah, so Patty, it was
Unanimous again.
Larry moved, Tim seconded, unanimous.
All right, we'll get this together before we're done today. All right, and as far as the waivers, everyone's gone through the packet.
Yeah.
There were recommendations, as Chris alluded to, by staff. The one with the additional lighting standards, to have, to approve the waiver, but with the condition that's been added to the packet, that the peer review lighting engineer be retained at the applicant's expense to review that plan. And Also noting that the requested waiver for 175-10A7 for the performance bond. I do not believe this waiver is in line with the typical waivers for the section, which, as memory serves, I mean, most of the waivers in the section are waivers of the plantings and what the landscaping is done. That's what we typically have been requested. So
Scott,
we
you said
talked with the board. What's that?
Patty has her hand raised.
Oh, do you not hear me, Patty?
Patty, you all good?
Okay, would you ask Mr. Belanger to please take his screen off so I can see people? That helps. All I can see is Chris's screen.
On it, Patty.
Thank you.
So I don't know, if others on the board have anything they want to talk about with the waivers, or?
No, I agree that there should be a landscape person with regard to that, and I'm in favor of that waiver. Obviously, the lighting standards, with a photometric are a good idea. I'm just trying to figure out which motion actually does what I want.
The first one.
The first one. Sounds good.
Any other discussion?
I move the requested waivers for section 175-9G2, additional lighting standards, and section 225-27E6C, off-street parking and loading, are approved in accordance with the staff memo dated April 11, 2024. And the requested waiver for section 175-10A7, additional landscaping standards, is denied. All of these in accordance and with the conditions in the staff memo dated April 11, 2024.
So it has been moved by Larry and. Anyone second? I'll second. Not second. All right. Can the chair second?
Chair can second, yes. Chair can actually move.
Well, I'll second it. Any discussion?
Yeah, so what's the issue with the landscaping? Why do you not only issue the waiver for that?
As I don't know if you've noticed in the bid, I mean, it's something that we require, and I'm not sure we really want to set precedents of not.
Yeah, we usually do
Require
require
bond up, I mean, for the
Yeah.
project itself, it's not a, I don't think it's
Okay.
an onerous, on my end, onerous,
That's a simple
Request.
explanation. I'm okay. I
And
can
there,
buy into that.
and there was, some historical failure with regard to landscaping on prior approvals.
On this?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, well then. All right, I'm on board.
other discussion? All right, it's been moved by Larry, seconded by Scott, and all in favor? Opposed? And show it's unanimous. All right. Any other discussion on the site plan?
Not gonna go with the last page.
Yeah.
Thank you. I move the final site plan review application for Topsham Dental Arts, tax map R04, lot 18. Meets the applicable standards in the site plan review ordinance, chapter 175, and the zoning ordinance, chapter 225, including the specific performance standards for professional offices in the residential zone, and is approved with the staff recommended conditions and findings identified in the staff memo dated April 11, 2024.
All right, that's the motion by Larry. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tim. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Show unanimous. All set.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Can I ask one question with regards to condition 3, just for clarification? It says the approval is not final until such time as final plans showing all conditions and waivers have been signed by the board. My plan is pretty busy. Do I need to show all those conditions on the plan, or can I do something different?
Sometimes we'll have a cover plan that has it on it, but yeah, but we do need the conditions on the sign plan,
On the sign plan,
yeah.
can I reference an approval letter in a note form? I just can't see myself getting all those conditions on the plan.
Yeah, so what you can do is make a cover plan that doesn't have everything you have on it, that has your plan list on it and the conditions, so that all the plans are covered and the conditions are
I
on
can
it.
prepare a cover sheet for it and put it on that. That's
Excellent,
great.
thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you,
Thanks.
Chris.
Well, Scott, what if it was 2-2? What do we do?
I'm sorry?
What if it was 2-2?
Well, I needed discussion, so, and I wasn't gonna try to do a discussion with a motion, so I was just trying to be appropriate.
Yeah, but it's part of the, when you move into second, then you basically can then have the full discussion.
Well, yeah, I just didn't wanna, yeah, I see what you're saying, I could have seconded, I could have seconded it and then discussed it, you're
I
right.
didn't discuss it, then
Yeah.
vote against it.
I wasn't thinking about that at the moment, yeah.
That was good.
All right.
All right, thank you.
But Robert's rules of order do allow the chair to make motions and
Right,
et cetera.
Yeah. The boards I serve on don't, they don't, as a practice, allow the chair to, vote unless it's a tie,
Oh, really?
yeah, or make motions.
well, with conditional use, a lot of times we need to have
Yeah, I can see that, yeah,
every person voting.
yeah, for sure.
All right, the next item is a site plan, Thompson Meadows Solar Station LLC, Glenvale Solar. Has submitted an application for an extension to the site plan of a utility scale solar energy conversion system at 68 Branch Road, tax map R02, lot 63, 72, and 93. So are you presenting that, sir?
I am, sir. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Joe Carrero. I am the Senior Director for Project Development for Glendale. Thank you for your time this evening. Thank you for your patience through the intervening time from our original approval to where we are today. I want to bring you up to date on what's been happening and where we are and ask kindly for an extension. Since our approval, we have gone through our processes with ISO New England for our interconnection. That included a feasibility study, site impact study, which is very extensive, and a request for an interconnection agreement. During all of that is when ISO New England and CMP, Central Maine Power, began figuring out the interconnection costs that will be associated with the project. We anticipated, obviously, the cost of a substation, which is usually about 8 million. They came in at 10. But they came back with $33 million, actually $33,300,000 of system upgrades that would be necessary in order for us to build the installation. I will tell you that that's the highest fee we've ever been quoted for system upgrades. There are two lines involved, section 43 and section 76. Our connection is proposed along section 43. CMP breaks them down by section, that's what they call that's how they designate their lines. And it is 43 that requires this level of corrective work to be done to it. We feel that some of that is pre-existing. We've gone back to ISO New England with that fact. We've done a number of things. We've asked them to re-rate section 43. In other words, to look at section 43, everything that's on it currently, and what those generators are actually putting into the system. For example, Warumbo and Jeff Scott hydro are both feeding into that same line. We know from publicly available records and from talking to the owners of those two facilities that they're not putting in 100% of what their connection agreement allows, nor do they have any plans to upgrade that equipment to do so. So there's space in there. Even with that re-rate, they came back at the same $33 million figure. We've worked tirelessly with them, with CMP, to find another way to interconnect the system. We're deep into this project. We're committed to do the project. We're committed to the landowners who we're working with. We're committed to the ratepayers of Maine in order to bring this power online. We're committed to the town to become a taxpayer here. And this is where we are now. What we have done is we've looked at other points of interconnection to avoid 43 the way it stands right now. Part of that is talking to some of the hydro operators. Within the regulations for ISO New England, you can go in and work with excess capacity. So let's just say one of the operators has capacity to put 14 megawatts into the system, and they're regularly putting in 11, that's 3 megawatts. Another one may have the same thing. So that we could literally use those as points of interconnection to come in behind their capacity. It'd be a business deal with them, but it would allow the project to get built. The project may be built smaller initially. It may be built in 2 phases. But right now, we're committed to build what we had approved here for the 17 megawatt and make that work. Now that we're actually talking to a couple of the hydro operators, we finally got something to put under our feet. Now, this may be the last gasp, but I don't want to go back to square one, especially with new federal regulations that have come in from FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory. We want to give it this last shot and see if we can get it done. In order to do that, obviously, I've got to continue or ask for an extension on the CUV. Otherwise, we're back to square. And I'm not sure you want to hear us all over again. I sit on the board.
It was a good presentation the last time.
Thank you. If I do worse, well, no, seriously, all joking aside, it is very serious, and we've dumped a lot into this, and it's cost us more money. I mean, we're a lot into this right now, even from the fees that are normally charged for all the studies we've gone through, for the engineering we've done, both electrical engineering and civil engineering. The fees we're paying to the property owners who are working with, which they're due. We're now, have applied to ISO New England for an extension on our COD date. That's a commercial operations date. That's a day we're actually putting electrons into the grid. We have to get that extension because even if everything fell into place tomorrow, we're not going to make that COD date. And we'll lose our PPA, our power agreement. So we've got to shift that out. And we have a document in front of them right now that they're reviewing. Typically they approve those without much problem. Since we need the extension because of them, I hope they have a kind heart about that and still make that extension request fulfilled. That's what I've got. I'm more than happy to answer questions at this point.
Thank you. Anybody have any?
I say this is a reasonable request for sure.
Yes.
So when the presentation was done before, I think wasn't it expected that there was room on that section of what you refer to as 43 to be able to have your power go into it?
So
I mean, it was just kind
Yeah,
of, I have a curiosity in my head, you
Yeah,
know.
when we come in initially and look at an area, I mean, obviously, we're looking for properties that are in proximity to lines.
Right.
A lot of it's public record. We know what's going through a line, whether it's a 34.5 kV or a 115 kV. We know what's in it. What we don't know is what's the condition of it. I've got another one of these in another town in Maine that we didn't know it has a thermal problem. So in other words, you can put more into it, but it's gonna fry the lines. They're old conductors that are out there.
Yeah.
And in that case, CMP knows that that is their responsibility to replace them. They've got it on a schedule to replace. And we're paying a very normal fee. In fact, we're not gonna have to pay any of the system upgrade fees because they've already budgeted for it. So there's no need of it. Once we come in, and this is not one of our bigger projects, I mean, 17.5 kV. It's certainly, it's a utility scale, on the low end of utility scale, but we, through our engineers, felt this line, maybe with some minimal upgrades, could do it. Some of the other things that they're throwing in right now is fiber. They use fiber for communications between all of their substations, between projects like ours, so that they can monitor more quickly. They used to be done T1 lines, the old style phone lines, which were high tech in the 1970s. So was I. They want double fiber. So they want, and if you happen to be coming in and you're gonna do work on a line where there's no fiber, or there's only one, guess what? You pay for that. And it's just the way it works. So it's either developers or the ratepayers, and by and large, the ratepayers pay for a large quantity of the upgrades that are done to these systems, ultimately. But we're coming in with power that's cheaper than for the grid to have than if they had to produce it themselves through typical generation. Maine is interesting. Maine produces through their own plants, hydro, us, et cetera, produces much more energy than Maine uses. They sell it. It goes south in Massachusetts and Connecticut. So that's a boom to the ratepayers as well. So they've been pretty cool about supporting the governor's energy office, et cetera, supporting, clean energy coming into the state. So, just a piece of it.
Anything else?
No, let's make a motion.
Please.
I move to approve the request by Topsham Meadow Solar Station LLC to extend the period of their site plan validity to October 13th, 2024.
Second. Scott?
Okay, so if you heard that.
Yep.
Tim did the motion, and Scott was second.
Yeah.
All right, do we have discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor? All right, Patty, it's unanimous. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. I hope when I come back in September, it's a time we have some great news and we're moving forward. So everybody have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so
Motion to adjourn.
please.
Second.
All right, so Patty, Scott, motion, and Tim, second. Discussion, seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, all right. Adjourn to workshop. Workshop is a review of the,